Hello everyone, I'm Christopher Rogers, and this is the Amateur Fishing Project. This video is going to be another installment in my Fishing with Classic Lures series. So let me remind you what I consider to be a classic lure. These are lures that have been on the market for more than 50 years. So another way of saying that is that these are the lures that I was fishing with when I was still just a little fella and just starting this lifelong pursuit. Now, today I'm going to be fishing with Creme Worms. These are some of the very first soft plastics that I ever fished with. Now, when I was growing up, I lived in a relatively small town in Louisiana. And this was back in the day before we had a Walmart, and I had yet to see my very first Bass Pro Shops catalog. So we just had two family-owned sporting goods stores in town to purchase our lures through. And so the selection there was very limited at that time. There were really only three choices for soft plastics. The first choice was hand pours. That's the majority of what both of these sporting goods stores sold, were hand-poured soft plastic lures that they made themselves. But the branded soft plastics that were available, there were only two at that time. There was either Mr. Twister or Creme. So these were some of the very first soft plastics that I ever started fishing with. I have, over the course of my life, caught a ton of fish on these, and I'm still fishing with them today. And so that's a large part of the reason why I've chosen this lure to include in this video. So there are really three reasons why I'm creating this video. The first is to remind all of you who have used these before and moved away from them that these are still very productive lures. And the second is to possibly introduce some of you to these lures who have never used them before. And I get it. When you go into a sporting goods store and you look at what's on the shelf, you're almost overwhelmed with all the selections. So it's very easy to overlook something that you don't see a lot of marketing for any longer. But these lures are still very productive. And, you know, that's the third reason why I'm creating this video, is because I enjoy using them. And they are still a part of my tackle box. And I want to share this with you in the hope, it's the same hope I always have, it's the hope that by doing so, I can help you put a few more fish onto your boat. So tomorrow I'm going to be heading out to a lake in East Texas. I'm going to skip Lake Fork this trip because the Bassmaster Elite Series is out there, and I don't want to compete for the same water as the people in that tournament. So I'm going to a smaller impoundment in the area. This is an impoundment with a lot of aquatic vegetation in it, which is where this lure can really shine, because I work this lure weightless, I Texas rig it, and it just slips through that grass. And it's a very productive way to target and pick up some bass that you might not be able to reach otherwise with a weighted lure. So stay with me, because the next time you see me, I will be out at the lake, which in video editing time is going to happen that fast. All right, everyone, as you can see, I made it out to the lake. And I have to confess that while I was pumping gas at Buc-ee's, the wind in Terrell was blowing 20 plus miles an hour, and I was looking at that wind and thinking about how difficult that was going to make fishing today, and I almost turned around and went home. But as I pumped gas, the words that my brother Philip always shares with me came to me. He always tells me, you don't know unless you go. And so those words motivated me to continue on to the lake, and I'm so glad that I did, because now that I'm here, the wind is laid down. There's just a light ripple on the water now, which is going to be beneficial for fishing. And as you can see, we've got an overcast sky to start the day with, which is also going to be beneficial. So from the conditions, I'm very encouraged about our chances. And we're just a few hundred yards from where we're going to start fishing. Once we reach that point, I will show you the setup that I'm going to be using to work these weightless Creme lures with. And I'm ready to get this started. All right, so as I just said, I want to show you the setup that I'm using to work these weightless Creme lures with. I've got just a medium heavy rod, spinning rod with a spinning reel. I've got that strung with 20-pound braid, and on the end I've got a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader with a bubblegum Creme lure to start off with. I'm going with a high visibility lure early in the morning, and I will probably change this out later on as the day progresses. And one of my little tricks for bass fishing, I use this slab sauce that's made for crappie lures, but I also use it on bass lures. All right, there you go. There's the first little fish of the day. There you go. There's the first fish of the morning. All right. That pickup was so light on that worm, I didn't even feel it. There you go. That's a nice bass to start off with. There you go. There you go. Nice fish. Nice fish to start the day with. Oh, beautiful fish. Come here. All right. Yep, he went, that hook went deep. Fortunately, I have a device here to help me get it out. Put on my glasses, that'll help. All right, there you go. Nice little fish to start the day with. Beautiful fish. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for helping me start my day. You have a good day now. All right. So, I tried several different colors of this Creme worm, and I caught that fish eventually on one of my all-time favorites, which is the grape firetail. So let me throw this a few more times, see if I can't pick up a few more fish. So what I do is I just, well, let me get the slime off my hands. So I Texas rig this lure. I drive the hook straight through the worm, and then I just skin hook the tip like that, so that it's relatively straight. All right, so that fish was right along this shoreline. He was right off the edge, which is a good drop off. That's one of the reasons I stop at this area every time I'm on this piece of water. We are just about maybe 15 yards, 10 to 12 yards off the shoreline, and we're at 8 feet out here. So for this lake, this is a pretty significant drop off, and it usually holds fish here. So I'm going to make a few more casts in this area before I move on. So I've moved down this shoreline a little bit to try to get out of this wind. I'm not quite out of it yet, but once I get around this bend here, I should be out of it. And that will improve the feeling that I have working this weightless Creme worm. Right now I'm still sticking with this grape firetail worm that I caught my first fish on. I am in some vegetation here, some hydrilla, some coontail. So in a few minutes, if I don't pick up another fish on this, I'll probably switch over to a watermelon color to see if I can pick up a fish that way. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hug this shoreline up shallow and hit individual pieces of cover as I move down the shoreline. All right, there's a fish, finally. All right, there's another little fish. Not much of a fish, but still a fish. All right, come here, little buddy. Let's lift you up in here. All right, that fish, for a little fish, has some sharp teeth. My goodness. Whew. Come on. All right. Well, that's a little bass right there, but beautiful color. Pulled him out of this grass. That fish took the watermelon color Creme worm. I switched to this watermelon because I am in some vegetation now. I like to try to camouflage it a little bit. All right, pretty little fish. You go back and have a good life. All right, let's fix this worm up and see if we can do that again. All right, there's a little fish right there. Okay, there's another little fish. Okay. All right, little buddy. All right, I got you. Boy, they're getting smaller. They should be going the other direction. These fish are actually getting smaller. But that's the second fish that's hit that watermelon creme. There you go. That's the worm it hit right there. But like I said, these fish are getting smaller. And you're going in the wrong direction, buddy. But thank you. Thank you for that. Have a good day. So I just replaced my worm and put on this new watermelon creme. And I just wanted to show you how I have this rigged. I have it basically Texas rigged with both the knot and the hook tip hidden. Just keep the worm straight. And it's really difficult to work it today with this wind the way I want to work it. So I'm just slow pulling it through the vegetation, trying to keep a tight line. So I'm keeping my rod tip down, and it's really been difficult to feel the bites today. All right, I'm still working this shoreline that's protected from the wind, but I think you can see the wind moving the water out in front of this point here. I think that 20-mile-per-hour wind I felt on the drive out here this morning is caught up with me, because that out there is every bit of 20 miles an hour. And up here, you know, I am somewhat protected from it, but even so, it's not easy to feel a strike with these weightless worms, which is one of the disadvantages of working these worms, but they are effective, so that's what I want to illustrate for you. Okay, there's the third fish of the day. Okay, there we go, there we go, there we go. Fourth fish of the day. Sorry, fourth fish of the day. A little better fish, going in the right direction. That one took the grape firetail creme worm. Nice fighting little fish there. Okay. There you go. All right. There you go. Nice healthy little fish. Thank you for that, little buddy. There you go. There's the fish. There you go. There you go. There's number 5. Okay. I had just stopped for lunch. I came back and that was my first cast after lunch. That one hit the watermelon. Look how skinny that fish is. My goodness. Tail's not beat up yet, so these fish aren't spawning quite yet. But look how skinny that little fish is. You need to go back and eat some more. Thank you. All right, there we go. There's another little fish. Okay. All right. All right. There we go. All right. There's number 6 for the day. Come here. Where did I get you? You know what? I'm gonna let this fish have this hook. And it'll dissolve here pretty quick. It's a pretty little fish, but again, tails are clean, so these fish aren't spawning yet. That fish hit the grape firetail worm, and again, I'm just throwing it out onto this grass flat and moving it through the grass real slow, and they're picking it up as it moves along. Real pretty little fish there. All right, thank you. All right, let me get this retied and we'll try to catch another one. Okay, let's see what we got here. Another little bass. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. Nice fish. Nice fish. I love how the clarity of this water. Beautiful fish. Heck yeah. Okay, that's number 7 for the creme worms today. Okay, there we go. Let's see, where are you going? Okay, there you go. Again, another pretty fish. So the you can see the wind hasn't died down today. It's still blowing 20+ miles an hour. I've got the power poles down and I'm just hitting spot to spot, casting this creme worm. You can see there's some grass in the water. Working it through this grass bed, just slow, moving it along, just ticking it along through the grass. And these fish are liking it today. I'm actually the only person I've seen catching fish today. So that's another testament to the creme worm there. And this one again hit the grape and firetail. This seems to be the color they like today. The water, because of the wind, is a little cloudier than it usually is here. I'm thinking about going back and trying that bubblegum color that I was trying this morning. So I might give that here a try here in a little bit. But let's put this pretty little fish back in the water before we do anything. And as you can see, I put some sun protection on because it is bright and sunny today. So thank you, little fish. You have a good day. Thank you for sharing this with me. Okay, I just caught my 8th bass of the day, and I caught this one on this bubblegum colored creme worm. Like I said, the water's got a little murky, so I switched to that brighter color, and it paid off with my 8th bass of the day. Of course, the battery in my GoPro ran out just as this fish was hitting. So I'm just now getting the release on video. Pretty little fish. Great color. Thank you for that, little buddy. You have a good day. There you go. There you go. All right. There's a fish. There's number 9. Okay, number 9 took the bubble gum. Number 9 took the bubble gum. Look at that pretty little fish. Lots of fight in that fish there. All right. Come here. Oh, I got you hooked in a bad spot, don't I? It's a bad spot to try to lip a fish. Okay, okay, okay. Another little fish there, number 9. Number 9 on the creme worm. Thank you, little buddy. Thank you, thank you. You have a good day. All right, let's do that again. I guess that's the whole point. Just keep doing it again. There you go. There you go. There's number 10. There's number 10. Look at there, a crappie. A crappie. A crappie. Can you believe it? A crappie. Well, I guess we've now proven that the creme worm can catch crappie. I think that's going to be the end of my day right there. Maybe. You always want to catch one more. I still got daylight. Let me throw this crappie back and keep casting. All right, everybody. It's been a pretty good day of fishing. I had to fight the wind all day. Unfortunately, the wind turned out to be exactly what it was predicted to be. I had my hopes up when I first got out here and saw that the wind had laid down, but it picked up and it continued picking up. But I fished through it, and hopefully through the process I've been able to illustrate for you just how productive these Creme lures can be, even though they've been on the market for more than 50 years now. And as I've told you before, the reason that lures like this have been on the market for so long is because they catch fish. So don't forget the classics. I know when you're in a tackle store, you're overwhelmed with the selection of lures, and there are a lot of new lures on the market continually. But don't forget the classics, because the classics have been around for so long because they catch fish. And I hope that over the course of this day, I've been able to illustrate that for you. I've enjoyed it. I've had a heck of a good time today. And I hope that all of you have enjoyed watching this. If you have, please hit the like button for me, because hitting the like button is just a little something that you can do to help me continue sharing this with as many people as possible. And if you'd like to follow the Amateur Fishing Project, you can hit the subscribe button. And that way, you won't miss out on any of the videos that I have upcoming. So until I have the opportunity to share this with you again,